Brace yourselves, because what you're about to hear is not just frustrating, it's downright infuriating. In a stunning moment that played out on live TV, a senior Labour minister was asked not once, not twice, but 4 times whether illegal immigration numbers would fall under Keir Starmer's government. And 4 times they refused to give a straight answer. Not a yes, not a plan, not even a hint of action. Just the usual political deflection, because the truth is, they have no intention of reducing illegal immigration, no intention of smashing the people smuggling gangs, and certainly no intention of putting the interests of the British people first. This isn't just weak leadership, this is a government that won't even pretend to care. After months of promises, pledges and photo ops, we now see the real face of Labour's immigration policy. Open borders, no accountability and endless excuses. And Starmer, he's nowhere to be seen, hiding behind soundbites while the system spirals out of control. Let's be clear, the British public did not vote for more chaos, more crossings, and more lies. Let's have a watch of this. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. We have released our new 0% Liberal t-shirts. You can find them at britishstand.com or go to the link in the description. Let's get back into today's video. Have a watch.
Which is more embarrassing for you personally, the welfare bill fiasco or the laughable claims that you would smash the gangs, that we're now more than 20,000 who've come this year and a 48% lift? Which is more humiliating for the government, would you say, Minister?
Look, when I look at these issues, Nick, what unites them, whether it's welfare reform, turning around the NHS, dealing with the small boats, we have got a number of big challenges facing the country, and
you're not meeting
going to have to,
Minister.
We are going to have to continue to work hard to meet them. The small boats is a tough issue. We've sent back 30,000 people who had no right to be in the country over the past year. Again, we are investing in the border force more to tackle these gangs.
But it's not working.
We are working closely with the French government. The numbers we are getting at the moment are not acceptable.
So will they be down this time next year? Will the numbers be down in a year's time?
We are going to have to work harder to bring the numbers down.
Will the numbers be down if we speak in a year's time?
Everyone in government knows this is a big challenge, yes. And as a team we are determined to meet.
Yes. If we have the opportunity to speak at this time next year, will the numbers be down on this year?
I'm sure you'll have the opportunity to ask me about that when I come on, Nick.
But will the number be down, Mr. McFadden?
Well, I'm not going to, make a prediction.
So that's 4 times I've asked, and you can't give me an assurance that the numbers will be down this time next year?
I can give you an assurance that the numbers at the moment are too high. We are working together to tackle this.
We don't know that they'll be there.
This is how people reacted. This user said, big challenges created by the mismanagement of our national security and the failure of the government in their duty of care to the citizens of the United Kingdom. This user said, the truth, Labour came into power on a false premise. Starmer lied. Labour lied. They all lied. They set their own path to this point in time. So, yes, PM is the worst ever. Liz said, they do not want them to stop coming. They are the worst government ever. My 80-year-old mum says the same the other day. She can't remember a worse government. Rob said, this is such an important issue to many in the country, and our politicians seem incapable of doing anything about it. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. In other news, asylum seekers are being handed wigs, eye tests, dental care, and free prescriptions at taxpayers' expense. A damning new letter has shown. Images of a document found near a migrant hotel in Derby have revealed the handouts awarded to Channel crossing asylum seekers, sparking fury as a result. You and your partner are entitled to the following, the letter says, before listing perks including free NHS prescriptions, free NHS dental treatment, free NHS sight tests, the full value of a voucher towards the cost of glasses and contact lenses, free NHS wigs and fabric supports, refunds for necessary costs of travel to receive NHS treatment. One local retired machine worker, Paul Davies, 67, said, they're getting more benefits than we do. I have to pay for my own dental treatment and prescriptions. ONS figures from October found that 97% of people who do not have a dentist and who tried to access NHS dental care were unsuccessful. William Yarwood, media campaign manager at the Taxpayers Alliance, said, "If true, handing out free wigs to migrants at taxpayers' expense is an insult to hard-working Britons footing the bill. Taxpayers will be pulling their hair out at this," he added. "This is exactly the kind of madness that fuels public anger and erodes trust in the system." Latest Home Office data shows that as many as 1,300 migrants sit in some form of asylum accommodation in Derby and Derbyshire. Across the country, more than 32,000 migrants are being housed in hotels, with around 70,000 more in other forms of accommodation. A petition to halt financial and other support for asylum seekers altogether has surged to nearly 400,000 signatures, but the government has not yet set a date for a parliamentary debate on it. "We are determined to tackle illegal migration and end the use of asylum hotels, but in the meantime, there is a legal requirement to support asylum seekers who would otherwise be living on the streets," an official response to the petition reads. A spokesman for the NHS meanwhile added, "The NHS is legally required to provide healthcare services to asylum seekers and migrants which are free at the point of use. This is a standard letter for people on low incomes and not specifically for people seeking asylum, for help with healthcare costs for a range of clinical conditions and follow-up care, including hair loss caused by cancer, as well as prescriptions, dental checkups and eye tests." Never glad, confident, morning again. These words from Browning are ones that haunt prime ministers when they get to that point in their premiership, when things stop going right, when their authority disappears. When Labour MPs, we've just had Emma Lowell, say it was a day of shame for the Labour Party, a day of shame for her own party. How much harsher could she be on the leadership of Sir Keir Starmer? There's been wrangling and soul-searching. The government got its bill passed. The ayes have it, and they're unlocked. But 49 Labour MPs voted against. It wasn't easy, and one Labour MP said there was nothing left in the bill to vote against. How extraordinary, just 1 year after an historic election victory, and the process has demonstrated one of the fundamentals of government, that if you stop giving people money that they're already getting, it is much harder than if you stop them getting it in the first place. Failing to realise this made it a muddle to start with, and now the savings from reforming welfare will be minimal, even though welfare needs reform, and this is why I try not to take too much pleasure from the Prime Minister's travails over this issue, as it is fundamentally important. The welfare bill is out of control, it's unaffordable. Any responsible government would have no choice but to take steps to try to establish some fiscal discipline, unless our country quite literally runs out of money. As the brilliant Fraser Nelson observed, 2 tweaks to the PIP assessments have made the cost of it explode. First, the scrapping of face-to-face interviews, replacing them with impersonal telephone interviews. Instead, that's led to approval rates for PIP surging to 80%. Double the 2010 level, assuming that people aren't doubly ill since 2010. Maybe the removal of face-to-face interviews has made it easier for those who want to game the system. Secondly, there's an £80 bonus payment for the assessors if they deal with a number of claims. That, of course, gives them motivation to approve everybody, because that's much quicker than not approving people. So financial incentive to give people a supplement to their income. And we need to understand how perilous the nation's finances are. Debt to GDP is nearly 100%, the deficit isn't under control. Pension obligations are enormous and growing. We have to reduce public spending, otherwise a bond market crisis and potential inflation await us. The government no longer has the authority or the ability to do this. The Prime Minister has been made to look as the puppet of the Parliamentary Labour Party rather than its commander. He was elected to lead, and instead he follows. He has suffered the biggest rebellion of his premiership, and despite his many U-turns, he seems to have even more to make now. So can you imagine the reaction from the Labour Party if they are presented with any serious cuts in future? What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.